So today I want to share with you why my fruit stash is so small. This is all I've got. I've got a bunch of almost ripe bananas, one bunch of not ripe bananas, and one ripe avocado. And that is it for the fruit stash in my house right now. What is going on? So, as most of you probably know, I eat a fruit-based diet. At times, I eat all fruit, nothing but fruit, which is, in my opinion, the optimal human diet. We are a frugivore species. And one of the most important things on a fruit-based diet is logistics. Making sure that you find the good fruit, that you transport the good fruit home, and that you have a rotation going so that you ensure always having ripe fruit on hand. This is one of the huge important parts of a fruit-based diet, or whether or not you will succeed eating a fruit-based diet. Because if you don't have ripe fruit, you don't have food. And if you don't have food, your body will not work well. You will not be able to do what you need to do. You'll not be able to perform the way you should. Here and there, sure, you can skip a meal, no big deal. But not on a regular basis. And ideally, you don't want to skip a meal even. So, what's going on? Why is my fruit stash the smallest fruit stash of all time? Because over the last 5 years, I've been eating mostly fruit, and I've had some epic fruit stashes in my time. And I like to have a big fruit stash anywhere I go. But right now, this is all I've got. Why? Well, I'm in a cabin on an island in Norway. I go here sometimes. You might have seen other videos from here. At this time, though, I'm completely alone, and I didn't arrive in a car. So last time we went here, I was with my family. We arrived in a car. We had 40 kilos of bananas with us, ripening up and all that stuff. We brought our whole fruit stash, our whole banana rotation with us. This time, however, I took the train. So yesterday I took the train and then the bus and then I took a ferry. And I had 20 minutes in between bus and ferry to buy all my food for the next 2 days. Now, I ordered a case of bananas that I'm going to pick up tomorrow with the boat, so I'm able to actually go there, pick up bananas, put it in the boat, and then drive the boat home. So that's good. But yesterday I was carrying all my stuff, bag and a backpack, not really traveling light because I was bringing books and lots of other things, lots of clothes. Here it's cold in Norway, and I had 10 minutes in the store. So what am I going to do? Well, I get in there. There's no ripe bananas. No, except for this one bunch, which is almost ripe. And even if there was lots of ripe bananas, I was pretty at my max capacity in terms of carrying. And I was gonna, after the ferry, I had to walk across the island, almost 2.5 kilometers, not that far, but 2.5 kilometers. I had to walk across the island carrying it, so I couldn't just load up on bananas. So what did I do? Well, I bought a couple of bunches of bananas just because then I'll have them in a couple of days. Tomorrow I'll have these for breakfast. And that's good. But what else did I buy? Well, I bought backup foods. And this is what I want to talk about today. I just want to sort of get into that topic of, is your diet, is your persistence on an optimal diet holding you back in any way? And if it is, maybe you need to break through some kind of barriers there. Because sometimes circumstances don't allow for an optimal diet. Like right now. I bought, in addition to this, I had to have food obviously, so I bought a bag of rice, and I bought a box of rice that was, that you can make porridge out of, a different type of rice, but still all rice, and a little bag of potatoes and sweet potatoes. Now, this is good. This is okay food. It's not optimal. It's not like fruit, but it's third best, second best. Whatever you want to call it. It's not optimal though, but that's the thing. What am I going to do in that situation? Am I going to not go on an adventure and go to the cabin all by myself? Because no, if I can't bring fruit, I won't go. Or am I just gonna, always live in a situation where I'm able to always get the fruit? Or what if I want to go to the North Pole? What if it's a crazy example, but what if you want to go on a mountain adventure somewhere? Can you bring with you 10 kilos of bananas? No, you cannot. Will you be able to find bananas on the mountain? No, you will not. What are you gonna do? Well, you gotta just do what you gotta do in the situation, and that's what I did, and that's what I wanna encourage you to do too. Strive for an optimal diet. Yes. Make your best efforts to have a fruit rotation, fruit stash going, always have ripe fruit on hand. But then, after you put your best effort in, go with the flow and be flexible. Be flexible, like bamboo, right? You don't want to break when the wind comes. You want to be flexible. So, this is all I've got, and I got a few, bags of rice, and my rice is cooking right now, and that's gonna be my lunch. These bananas aren't ripe yet, and I'm gonna have them for breakfast tomorrow. I think that's more valuable than eating them unripe now. So I had rice porridge for breakfast, I have rice for lunch, and I'm gonna have sweet potatoes for dinner. All cooked, all starch, mostly starch anyway. Haven't done that in many years. I'm already feeling, I'm feeling alright, yeah, but I'm feeling, it's not as satisfying as eating fruit. It takes a lot of time preparing it. But you know what? That's just life. That's just what you gotta do in this situation. So for me, that was the best choice, carrying the rice. And maybe it is for you too, going hiking in the mountain, bringing rice. But then on the other hand, you have to bring cooking equipment if you're gonna cook on a mountain trip. So maybe just dried fruit is better. But then again, personally, I don't enjoy eating meals of dry fruit, so yeah, I don't know. So there's a lot of these video topics lately for me, talking about eating some cooked food, and it's not because I'm trying to defend eating cooked food, and it's not that I guess I am defending it, but not in the sense of nutrition. I'm not trying to say that it's ideal nutritionally, because it's not. But what I am trying to say though is that we need to realize that there is the ideal, nutritionally speaking, and that is fruit. Hands down, no question. But there are more factors and variables in life than just nutrition. So going on adventures, you might get in these situations. If you go hiking up in Nepal and you're walking in the mountains, you're hungry, it's lunchtime, what are you gonna do? Maybe you will find some fruit, but if you don't find any fruit, you'll go to some kind of, I don't know, restaurant or store or whatever, and buy something that's edible, something that's going to give you what you need. I don't think you ever, except if you're surviving in the forest by yourself and there's World War III going on or something, I don't think you ever actually have to eat animal products to survive. That would be the last resort. But in this day and age, you don't have to do that. There's always a starch-based alternative. Worst case scenario, we're talking bread. But there's always some kind of starch food available. And you know what? Most of the time, there's fruit available. But the question is, can you carry it? Like me walking across the island, can I carry it across the island? Well, I couldn't. I couldn't carry 10 kilos of bananas across the island. I was already carrying all my luggage. I'm flexible. I'm like, okay, I'm realistic. What am I going to do? I'm going to need food for the next 2 days. Well, I guess rice. Rice is a good option. Potatoes, good option. But then again, potatoes are heavy for each calorie. There's water here in the cabin, so rice makes sense in terms of benefit per cost, if you know what I mean, like carrying cost. It's lightweight, concentrated in calories. So that's all for today. A little bit of talk, a little bit of contemplation on the topic of being flexible in life, embracing adventures, doing your best to find the fruit, but then again being flexible and realizing that it's you got to figure out what's worth it for you. And if you're in a stable situation with a house and maybe even a car or there's a bicycle, or your suppliers and you're familiar and you have a routine going, you can always pretty much find good fruit. Well, it depends on the location and time of year, of course, but you can always be sure to stack the cards in your favor in terms of finding what's optimal food-wise at all times. But as soon as you get out of that comfort zone, out of that routine-based life, out of that stable bubble that we all spend most of our time in, and we enjoy being in that bubble, of course, the predictability, the safety, the consistency. But as soon as we move ourselves out of that bubble, and I think we should go out of that bubble, we should move out of our comfort zone, we should go on adventures, we should challenge ourselves, we should do things that we wouldn't otherwise do. And if you are in that situation of wanting to do something crazy, something experimental, something exciting, some adventure, and you're just like, oh no, I can't do it because I won't find any fruit there, or no, what am I going to do, I can't carry my bananas, so I won't have any food. Don't be ridiculous. We humans, we've survived for a long time eating lots of foods that are not optimal. And we can, a meal here or there, or a few days or a few weeks of non-optimal food choices is not going to make a huge difference. What is going to make a huge difference though is you going on an adventure and you being flexible and you experiencing new things. Not letting diet determine where and what you go and when you go where, etc., unless that's what you're excited about. So let your excitement guide you and don't let your diet hold you back. That being said, of course, nutritionally speaking, making your best efforts to make the best optimal choices at all times will be beneficial to your physical, mental health, of course, your life in general, but not if it costs you being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. All right, thanks for now. My little tiny fruit stash. Wow, it's a tiny fruit stash, all right. I'm used to having a lot more fruit available than this. Anyway, soon to be expanded, this fruit stash, as I pick up my box of bananas tomorrow and some more fresh stuff and take it home in the boat. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having an awesome day. Don't let anything hold you back from doing what you want to do, when you want to do it. Follow your highest excitement. Do the best you can and be okay with whatever is. See you around.